Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Alignment Academy. It's your host, Kristen, and I'm really excited for today's episode because we're going to be talking about something that everyone wants more of, which is confidence. And not only confidence, unshakable confidence. And if you don't know me, I actually started my coaching career in helping people with confidence. So I have helped probably over like 300 or 400 women build unshakable confidence so that they can be the most just embodied versions of themselves and honestly stop giving a fuck what all these other people think of them, because that's the root of confidence, which we'll get into. So really excited for today's episode, but before we get into it, I have a really exciting update for you. I am gifting all of my podcast listeners a free meditation. This meditation is to release anxiety and worries and trust the universe more. All you have to do to get this meditation is whatever platform you're listening on, give me a 5-star review and then go follow my podcast page, Alignment Academy Podcast on Instagram, and then send me a screenshot that you rated or reviewed the podcast and I will send you the meditation. I'm super excited for you guys to try this one. If you know me, you know I love creating meditations, and meditating has been the thing that's like changed my life the most. If I'm really thinking about it, like you guys know, I just did a 60-day Daddy Joe challenge. I'm actually still meditating to Daddy Joe, so probably around 4 or 5 months now. I should probably do an updated episode on that. Honestly, even before then, I'm all about inner child work and healing and really using your internal world to create whatever you want in your external world. So this meditation will help you do that. And if this is an episode that you think one of your friends would benefit from, then please send it to them. It just really helps my podcast grow. And honestly, I love when my friends send me podcast episodes. I just feel like it's a really like nice love language where you're like, oh, you were thinking of me, and you get to learn something and you guys can talk about the podcast later. So anyway, let's get into it. Today, we're talking about confidence. So the agenda for today is we're going to be talking about what confidence isn't, what it actually is, and then my top 5 tips for you to apply today for you to start building unshakable confidence. So I'm really excited for this. Let's go ahead and get into it. So what confidence isn't? Confidence is not being the loudest person in the room. Confidence is not being the prettiest person in the room. Confidence is not being the best dressed or the brightest colors, and it's not even feeling confident 100% of the time. I think that these are the myths that we have around confidence. Like, oh, the confident girls are like the most popular girls, right? Like I know that that's how I thought of confidence in high school and even middle school, is like, if you were popular, you were the most confident. But honestly, that doesn't equal confidence. Confidence really is this deep inner knowing of like, even if you don't like me, it's okay because I like me. And even if you don't understand me, it's okay because I understand me. And even if you don't approve of what I'm doing with my life or my opinions, it's okay because I approve of them. Really, it comes down to you loving yourself more than you need other people to love you, and you valuing yourself and your opinion more than you value other people's opinions. To give you an example of this, I want you all to start to think of someone in your life that is so fucking magnetic. Like they just, whenever they walk in a room, everyone just flocks to them. And whenever they are around, you're just like, I know it's going to be a good time. I know it's going to be fun. I know it's just going to be a vibe. Right? If you actually think about that person, they're probably not perfect. They probably don't have perfect style. It's probably not that they're the prettiest person or the hottest person in the world. If you really dissect it, it's that they love themselves. That's it. Isn't that funny that confidence is really just you fucking vibing with you? That's really all it is. But the caveat is that we have all of these limiting beliefs. We have all of these societal programming. We have so much noise around us telling us who to be, what we should be doing with our life, what makes us worthy and unworthy. And honestly, all of those things are clouding you from you being your most confident self. So we're going to talk about easy ways for you to start to undo those things and really step into your most confident self, which is what we want. Even when I'm working with clients, the biggest thing that stops them from really being confident and showing up in their full self is caring what other people think, truly. And we're going to be talking about this a lot. I'm going to say this in a lot of ways, that like you have to stop caring what other people think if you want to be confident, because it's kind of like they can't coexist. You can't care what other people think of you and be your most confident self. I mean, obviously, we're all going to care a little, but I'm going to say you have to care more about what you think of you than what other people think of you in order to be your most confident self. And even when I'm working with my clients and they're working on their confidence in the beginning, this is obviously business related, but a lot of times they're worried about not triggering other people, or they're worried what their friends and family are going to think of their business. And if you really think about the energetic imprint of that, it's like, let me dim my light, let me people please, let me be as small as possible so I don't disrupt you and your state. Which ultimately, it's not your job to make sure other people are okay. And let me give you an example here. Let's say you really want to start a business, and then your friend starts a business and it really triggers you because deep down you're a little bit envious. You're like, oh my God, I want to do that. And now she's doing it. Is it your friend's responsibility to not start the business so it doesn't trigger you? No, it's your responsibility to do the inner work to either start the business or not feel jealous or envious of your friend so that you guys can have a good relationship, and so that you're not subconsciously asking her to dim your light so you guys can stay friends. Like, it's just not her responsibility for your trigger. And that's the same thing with like showing up online or even showing up in your bigness with your friends and family. Like, if you trigger them, that's on them. And so many times we kind of internalize those triggers and we're like, well, it's up to me to keep the peace and make sure that I'm making everyone comfortable. But that is honestly just an inner child wound where you felt responsible for other people's emotions, for other people's feelings. And honestly, it's just not your job. Now, what I want to remind you is that no one is born without confidence. No one came here as a baby and said, I don't like who I am, and I'm not pretty enough, and I don't like my skin color, and I don't like this, and I don't like that. Nobody did. So where did we lose our confidence in the first place? If nobody did that, it's from experiences, from society, from how we grew up. All of these things have shaped us to have confidence or to not have confidence. And something that I want to remind you, and maybe you have never thought about this, is your inner child is responsible for how you operate in the world today, unless you've done inner child work and actively tried to change it. And so your confidence levels today are the exact confidence levels of your inner child. That's why when people were typically really popular in school and kind of had a really good upbringing, they typically kind of carry that into adulthood. In another way, when people had a harder childhood and they got bullied or they were made fun of or they had really bad experiences in school, they typically mirror and recreate that in some way in adulthood, and usually have like the same, not like standing in their social circle, but tend to manifest the same experiences. If you haven't really gotten into my work, all of the work that I do is based around inner child work, because if we don't go and heal the root of where we picked up all of this childhood programming, the truth is we're not going to change. And so all of this to say that you are innately worthy and confident. Like, it is just all your experiences and the hand you've been dealt that has told you otherwise. And so your real work, what I want you to do is to undo all of those things and remind yourself confidence is actually your most natural state. And it might not feel like it right now, but as you become more confident and as you apply the tips that I'm going to teach you, you're going to be like, wow, this does feel more natural. This feels like my true self. The self right now, the self that's doubting herself, the self that's not sure, it's not you, or it would feel good, right? That's our energetic gauge for this life, is when things are for us, they feel good, but not being confident doesn't feel good. And that's how we know we're a little bit off of our most authentic path. Now, I want to go over some of the biggest ways that I see lack of confidence manifest in my clients' reality. So these are just like the big ones. Obviously, it can manifest in a lot of ways, but the biggest ones are fear of judgment, fear of posting online, fear of being seen in real life and online, fear of what other people are going to think of you, fear of making a change. Those are the biggest ones. And what I really want to say about these is that they all have the same root, fear of judgment in some sense. And if you really unpack this, so you don't want to be judged, but what do you want? You want to be accepted and loved for who you are, right? But the caveat here is that you're not really wanting acceptance and love from these other people. Like, yes, on the surface, you do. But the only thing that is really going to help you heal on the subconscious level is accepting and loving yourself. Because the truth is that you can't control if other people accept and love you. Like, what are you going to do? Force people to accept and love you? You can't do that. But what you can do is take full control of it and say, I accept and love myself so much that it no longer matters if you accept and love me. When we really, really desire people to accept and love us, it's because we don't really accept and love us. So their validation means more to us than our own. But when we're giving ourselves that love and acceptance and support and attention that we're desiring from others, everything else is just kind of like extra. Everything else is just more, right? And it makes us a more whole being when we're not entering these relationships and subconsciously needing things from other people. It's like these unwritten contracts where it's like, hey, I want you to be my friend. I want you to be my boyfriend. I want you to be in relationship with me, but like, I don't love and accept myself. So like, I need you to love and accept me so that I feel good about myself. And the minute that you take it away, I'm going to feel like shit. Like, that's actually what's happening subconsciously is we're entering these relationships and friendships as almost like a half of a being. Not really, but like you're not showing up as a whole worthy being. And then we expect other people to give that to us. And so when we really focus on feeling worthy alone and being confident on our own and really giving ourselves the things that we're craving from others, we can enter relationships that are so healthy and are just based on connection and not getting our needs met. So that's what I want to say about that. All right, so let's get into my top tips to start to build your confidence today. And this is my promise to you. If you start to use these tips, if you apply this today, you will feel more confident by next week. I promise you that. The thing about information though these days is that like there's so much information out there. And I think that sometimes we forget that, hey, we need to apply this information. If we just consume it and don't actually change anything in our life, nothing's going to change. And honestly, this is why I think that I've had such a good track record with my coaching is because I am so action oriented. Like with all of my clients, it's never just information. It's always the information and then the implementation. So what I'm here to tell you, because we're in Alignment Academy school, is that I want you to like get your notebook out right now and start to take notes, to start to unpack where you can start to take action on these things and really apply this, because that's when your life changes. Like honestly, if everyone just applied what they learned online, you would never have to take a course. You would never have to do anything. Like information is honestly free. It's just that people have so much trouble with the implementation, but I'm giving you freaking gold on this podcast right now. So take it and run with it and change your damn life. Because honestly, I changed my life from just listening to podcast episodes and applying. And I'm so grateful for those creators that did it. And this is what I want for you. Like everyone deserves to feel confident. Everyone deserves to get what they want. Because one of my favorite quotes about confidence is confidence will get you what degrees and money can't. I fuck with this quote because it's so true. It's like if someone is confident in themselves, it is so much more valuable than degrees and money, especially in today's day and age. It's literally not about your accolades or your school or what you've accomplished anymore. It's like, do you believe in yourself enough to just go do the damn thing? And it's so funny because a lot of, my clients, they're entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. And sometimes they're like, do I need to get a certification? Do I need this? And like, obviously use your discretion. If you know nothing about what you're trying to teach, like, yes, you do. But if you're going to be a breakup coach and you just went through a breakup and you could help someone, girl, all you need is confidence. All you need is just to believe in yourself and then you do it. And it's so funny because so many people like ask me how to get started and stuff, and like how to start making content and how to start doing this. And I'm like, honestly, you just freaking start. You start when you're bad. You start when it's messy. You start when you don't feel like it, but you just got to start and grin and bear being a beginner, because I feel like just nobody wants to be a beginner these days. All that to say, when you really build your confidence, it's almost like a hack in this universal matrix, because when you believe in yourself, you can have anything that you desire. I told you guys that in my mushroom episode. And if you haven't listened to that, go listen to it. I believe it's 28. And like the universe is just an algorithm, and self-worth is how you go viral in the algorithm. It's how you get what you want. And so self-worth, confidence, basically the same thing. It's really about having a deep knowing that I am worthy, I am good, I am loved by myself first, and I deserve everything that I desire. So with that being said, I know I just went on a little bit of a rant, but let's talk about the tips. The first tip to build unshakable confidence is doing hard things. Simple, I know. And a lot of these tips are simple, but a lot of people just won't do them. Genuinely, when was the last time you pushed yourself out of your comfort zone and did something really hard? I have a lot of clients that come to me and say, Kristen, I really want to be a content creator, but I'm scared of posting on social media. And I say, but can you do it? Can you muster up some courage and do it? And they're like, yeah, I guess. I'm really scared. I'm like, but can you do it? If you can do hard things, you can almost hack your own confidence, because a lot of times we're operating under this belief that when I have confidence, then I will do hard things. That is the wrong formula to be living life on. It's I will do hard things and then I get confidence. One of my favorite quotes when it has to do with this is courage is confidence in disguise. Meaning, if you don't have the confidence yet, you can probably find 15 seconds of insane courage to do what you desire to do, right? A lot of things in life, if you can just find courage and be like, you know what? If it doesn't work out, it's okay. You know what? The worst thing that happens is this. You are going to be able to do a lot of dope things, like shooting your shot in life in general, with guys too, right? But in life, in business, in whatever you desire, is going to get you a lot of what you want. And I think that that's one of the like really deep lessons that I've recently learned for myself is like, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. You kind of just got to do hard things. And an example I have for you guys for this is, I'm trying to get this podcast to blow up, obviously. Like, I love this podcast. I love talking to you guys. I feel like it's really part of my soul's mission to just help as many people as possible. And this is the easiest way to do it. And I'm looking for sponsorships so that I can start doing this more fully and take a step back from some of the other things that I'm doing. I reached out to an old partner that I used to work with. I was like, hey, I have a podcast now and I would really love to work with you guys. And they connected me with their podcast department. And now I'm going to be working with them hopefully soon. I mean, it's still in the works, so like no promises, but hopefully soon I'm going to be working with them. And I'm like, wow, if I had never just asked and been like, no, I'm too small, or I'm too this, or I'm too that, like it just would have never panned out. And so you have to do hard things. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of courage, but doing hard things. Now, your homework for today is what are 1 or 2 hard things that are out of your comfort zone, whether it's shooting a shot with a boy in the DMs, whether it's posting online when you haven't been there for 5 years, whether it's asking for a stranger for the time while you're out and about in the world. What is 1 or 2 hard things that you can make yourself do this week? And I promise you, after you do those things, you are going to feel so confident. You're going to feel on top of the world, and you're going to be like, damn, it feels good to do hard things. My second tip is to build self-trust, which builds confidence. Now, I want you to think of self-trust with yourself as like you are a friend to yourself. This is the best way I can describe it. Let's say you and your friend have plans to go to a coffee shop this weekend. And then your friend calls and says, sorry, something came up, I can't make it. And she doesn't go. And then you guys reschedule for the next weekend. She doesn't show up. She says, sorry, it slipped my mind, I can't make it. And then she never even kind of follows up to do it again, to remake plans. Would you trust that friend? Would you think that friend is a good friend? Would you think that friend is reliable? no, that friend has not been there for you at all, has not given you any reason to trust her. And this is the same exact thing with yourself. If you're always telling yourself, I'm going to do this, and then you never do it. I'm going to start the business and you never do it. I'm going to sign up for the course and you never do it. I'm going to go work out today and you never do it. You are not going to trust yourself to follow through with anything. And it's really hard to be confident in something that you're unsure of. And so when you build your self-trust, it is directly correlated to your confidence, and you're going to be able to operate in your highest version of yourself because you're going to believe that you're going to do whatever you say you're going to do, and that's going to make you more confident. So building your self-trust is going to be a really big tip to increase your confidence. So homework for this one is I want you to rate your self-trust on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. If it is anywhere below an 8, I need you to pick one very easy goal that you want to start being consistent in. Now, I call these simple disciplines, and the purpose of simple disciplines are really to just build self-trust. So a simple discipline could be going to the gym 3 days a week. It could be making your bed every morning. It could be calling a friend once a week. Whatever that simple discipline is, it should be easy enough that you know you can do it. And all it is really there to do is help you show yourself that you can be consistent when you want to, and that's going to build confidence in yourself, and it's going to trickle out into all areas of your life. So, second tip, build self-trust, which builds confidence. My third tip is a fun one, and I love this tip because it is that confidence is a choice. And you might be sitting here thinking, Kristen, confidence isn't a choice. I wish I was confident, but I'm here to prove you wrong. Right? We can fake it sometimes, and we can decide that we're going to show up confidently. So for example, if you're watching the video on YouTube, I could sit here with my shoulders slouch and talk really low and not look at the camera. Or I can sit here with my shoulders back, looking at you in the eye, sounding really confident, using the tone of voice that makes me feel the most confident, right? Like ending on lower tones versus like, yeah, do you believe me? Yeah, just like be confident. Like obviously I don't sound confident when I'm talking really high like that. I sound super confident when I'm ending on lower tones and I'm looking at you in the eye and my shoulders are back. And this is how I want you to start to show up. You have to embody your most confident self. And there's different ways that you can embody this, right? You can use these smaller tips that I'm giving you right here of just pretending to be confident when you need to show up confidently. But you can also dress in a way that makes you feel really confident. Maybe putting makeup on makes you feel the best and makes you feel like your most confident self. Like if that's what you need to do, put on a little makeup before you go to the gym to feel confident, do it, girl. No shame. When you feel good, you look good, you perform good, you just feel better about life, right? So do what needs to be done to kind of like fake it to make it, but set yourself up for success. And I want you to actually practice embodying your most confident self for this little action item here. It's like, what can you do? Where can you show up a little bit more confidently than you normally do? And when I'm working with clients, one place that we practice this is like, if they have a 9 to 5 in meetings at work, when you normally wouldn't maybe raise your hand or make a comment in a meeting, can you just raise your hand and say something in a really confident tone and see how it's received? And there's been so many of my clients that do this and they were like, Kristen, everyone was so surprised and I felt so confident and like, I really feel like I gained some respect. And I'm like, yeah, girl, because you just acted like the person you wanted to be, and people just decide who you are based on what you show them, right? So if you just decide you're confident, people are like, oh, she's confident. And it's so funny how the world works, because it's like sometimes we want people to tell us that we're good enough so we can feel confident, but like, no, you go first. You go first and then the world follows. So third tip is that confidence is a choice, and sometimes you got to fake it to make it. My fourth tip is going to be my most impactful tip, meaning I don't really think that you can skip this part if you want true confidence, and this is inner work. As you guys already know, I am a big inner child work girly. I believe that working with your inner child is the fastest way to get what you want, because she or he is the person that holds all of your limiting beliefs, that holds your self-worth, your confidence, your insecurities. And if you help her feel worthy in whatever situation, your adult self is going to feel worthy as well. I'll do an entire episode on inner child work, and let me know below like any questions you have on inner child work. But inner child work has absolutely changed my life, and it was the best thing that I did that helped me increase my confidence. And so what I want you to ask yourself is, where are the places I don't feel worthy of what I desire? And what would I need to feel worthy of what I desire? And then whatever that is, so like, let's say you're like, well, I want to start a business, but I don't think that I'm good enough. Okay, what would you need to feel good enough? Would you need validation? Would you need support? Would you need someone to say, actually, I think this is your gift. You absolutely could do this. That's validation and support, right? Give that to yourself. You don't actually need that from other people, guys. When you learn how to give what you desire to yourself, now you are unshakable. Now you can literally do anything you want because you no longer need other people to validate you in order to do it. It's like the biggest hack for life. And even when I was about to quit my corporate job, I would do inner child work, and I would tell my inner child, you are so worthy of owning your own business. You are going to make so much money when you follow your soul's purpose. I really needed that support and validation that I didn't get from my parents, because my parents told me when I was older, or younger rather, they would be like, you're only going to be successful if you do this, this, and this, and you have to work hard to make money. And so I was reprogramming all these things with my inner child of like, no, girl, you are going to be so successful when you follow your purpose, and you can trust yourself, trust your intuition. If this doesn't feel right, do something else. And I was giving her all that validation, which ultimately gave me the confidence to quit my job and just like have this life that I now have that I'm so proud of building. You know, I work for myself full time. I'm a content creator. I make way more money than I did at my corporate job. All of these things are because I told myself I could do it. Nobody else was telling me that I could do it. In fact, I had a lot of friends that were making fun of me. I had a lot of people that didn't support me. I had a lot of people thinking I was crazy for quitting my job, but I validated myself so deeply. And so this is your sign that if you have been feeling the call to start inner child work, do not wait. I have a masterclass and a meditation that are both low cost. I will link them below. And these are great places to start to really validate yourself, build confidence, heal your inner child. They come with like journal questions that will help you get to the root of what's coming up and help you be your most confident self. The other type of inner work that I love to do, just kind of more on the go, is just self-validation, right? Self-validation is just giving yourself the pep talks that you need in the moment. So for example, let's say that I'm like really nervous to record this podcast. I'm not, but like, let's say I am. I would say, Kristen, you're going to do great. If you don't do great, it's okay. I'm going to love you either way. You are going to say the perfect things to the perfect people, and everyone is going to get a lot out of your episode. Really, all I'm doing is telling myself what I need to hear and reparenting myself in the moment as if I'm a child that's scared. What would my adult self say? So it's like I separate myself in two parts, the parts that's scared, and then the adult self that knows that I'm going to be okay no matter what. And I mother the second part of me with the first part of me. And this is something that you can practice. Where are you feeling anxious in your life right now? Where are you feeling like you need a little bit of support or validation? And talk to yourself out loud. I talk to myself out loud all the time, and it really helps. So try it out. I think you're going to like it. Now, my fifth and final tip for today is going to be to stop self-abandoning. This is for my people pleasers in particular. A lot of times when we don't have confidence is because we were raised with the belief that other people's needs are more important than our own, and we are responsible for other people's feelings, and we shouldn't say no because it's inconvenient to other people. This could have happened, if you had experiences in childhood or even in school where you wanted to do what was best for you, but your mom was like, no, you need to go to your sister's recital, or no, you need to do this for your sister because she did this for you. And then we learned as children, oh, I need to meet other people's needs, even if it's inconvenient for me, because if not, I'm not going to gain love from my family. And so really, as adults, if we're trying to build confidence, we have to start to put ourselves first. Think about that confident person that we talked about in the beginning. Odds are they have really good boundaries and they know what's best for them. It's because they're not scared of not getting love from others because they feel so much love in their self. It's almost this vibration of like, even if you don't like what I'm going to do, or even if you leave me, it's okay because I'm going to be good, right? People pleasers don't think that they're going to be good if other people are mad at them or leave them. It's like their own security is reliant on if the other person is okay, which just like is a toxic relationship in itself. So really what this comes down to is saying no more, setting empowering boundaries, like really knowing if I can't do something or I don't want to do something, I don't have to. And the third and final one is getting to know yourself a little bit better and like expressing your opinions. A lot of times people pleasers don't know who they are because they're so used to just going with the flow or saying, yeah, I'll do whatever. And like they don't really check in and say, well, what do I want? So really taking the time to be alone and check in of what is best for you and what you want to do is going to be really, really great for starting to set these loving boundaries and just starting to stop self-abandoning. Those are my 5 tips for you. I hope you guys got a lot out of them. And I want to remind you that you need to take action on these things. Nothing is going to change by just listening to this podcast. I want you to really go apply this because I want you to change your life and I want you to have everything that you desire. So thank you, Earth Angels, for another amazing episode. I just wanted to remind you that if you do want my free Releasing Anxiety and Trusting the Universe meditation, all you have to do is give me a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to this on and go follow Alignment Academy Podcast on Instagram and then send me a screenshot of your review or your 5 stars and I will send you the meditation. So I am really, really excited to just continue this podcast. I love it so much and I feel like I'm getting so much positive feedback. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I love you. If you have any requests for episodes that you want me to do in the future, slide into my DM so I can stalk you and we can be friends. I love you. Bye.